The most disgusting pirate habits. When we think of pirates, images of swashbuckling adventurers, treasure chests, and dramatic sea battles often come to mind. However, the reality of life aboard a pirate ship was far less glamorous. Pirates were known for their brutal and often repugnant lifestyles, which included a host of revolting habits that were born out of necessity, desperation, or sheer depravity. Today, we delve into some of the most disgusting pirate habits that will make you rethink the romanticized image of these notorious sea robbers. Firstly, let's talk about hygiene, or rather, the lack thereof. Pirates lived in extremely unsanitary conditions. Fresh water was a precious commodity reserved primarily for drinking. Bathing was almost non-existent. Pirates would go for months without washing themselves, leading to an unbearable stench that permeated the ship. Lice and fleas were rampant, and the lack of personal hygiene contributed to the spread of diseases like scurvy, dysentery, and typhus. One particularly revolting practice was the use of communal urine barrels. Fresh water was scarce, and pirates needed to conserve it. So, instead of using valuable drinking water, they collected urine in barrels to clean their decks and even wash their clothes. This practice not only added to the overall filthiness, but also contributed to the spread of infections. Food on a pirate ship was another area rife with disgusting habits. With no refrigeration, food would quickly spoil. Pirates often had to eat moldy bread, rancid meat, and hardtack infested with weevils. The hardtack, a type of dense biscuit, was often so hard that it needed to be soaked in water or beer to make it edible. The presence of weevils was so common that pirates would simply eat them along with the biscuit, considering them an additional source of protein. Moreover, pirates had a penchant for drinking, but not just any drink. Their preferred choice was grog, a mixture of rum, water, and sometimes sugar and lime. However, when rum was unavailable, they turned to other, more questionable sources of alcohol. One such concoction was bumbo, a mixture of rum, water, sugar, nutmeg, and sometimes butter. While bumbo itself might not sound too disgusting, the conditions under which it was made and consumed certainly were. Pirates would use any available container, often dirty and unwashed, to mix their drinks, leading to further health hazards. Another revolting habit was the way pirates dealt with wounds and injuries. Medical knowledge was rudimentary at best, and proper medical supplies were scarce. For minor wounds, pirates might use any available cloth, regardless of its cleanliness, to bandage injuries. For more serious injuries, the ship's carpenter or cook, often doubling as the ship's surgeon, would perform surgeries with crude instruments. Cations were common, and without proper anesthesia or antiseptics, the process was excruciating and often deadly. Pirates would sometimes cauterize wounds using hot tar or gunpowder, leading to horrific infections. Pirates also had a rather grisly approach to dental hygiene. Toothbrushes were unheard of, and tooth decay was rampant due to the lack of proper nutrition and high consumption of sugar and alcohol. When a pirate had a toothache, the solution was often to have the offending tooth yanked out, usually with no better tool than a pair of pliers or even a knife. This brutal method often resulted in broken jaws, severe infections, and even death. Living conditions on a pirate ship were atrocious. Pirates slept in cramped, dark quarters below deck, often without proper ventilation. The stench of sweat, urine, and rotting food permeated these sleeping areas. Constant problem, and pirates sometimes had to share their bedding with these unwelcome guests. The combination of filth, poor nutrition, and close quarters made pirate ships a breeding ground for disease. Personal behavior among pirates could also be quite repulsive. Discipline was often maintained through fear and brutality, leading to a culture where might made right. Pirates were known for their heavy drinking and rowdy behavior, which frequently led to brawls and violent altercations. Personal hygiene was neglected, and it was not uncommon for pirates to wear the same clothes for weeks or even months without washing them. These clothes would become encrusted with dirt, sweat, and other bodily fluids. Pirates also had some disturbing dietary habits that went beyond the typical fare of spoiled food. In times of extreme hunger, pirates were known to resort to cannibalism. There are documented cases of shipwrecked pirates drawing lots to decide who would be killed and eaten to ensure the survival of the rest. This macabre practice highlights the desperation and brutal reality of pirate life. Another grisly aspect of pirate life was their treatment of prisoners and captives. Pirates were notorious for their cruelty, often torturing captives to extract information about hidden treasures or to instill fear. Torture methods included flogging, keel-hauling, dragging a person under the ship from one side to the other, and marooning, stranding a person on a deserted island with minimal supplies. These acts of brutality were designed to break the spirit of their victims and assert dominance. The moral compass of pirates was often skewed, and they engaged in numerous vices that would be considered abhorrent by today's standards. Slavery was a common practice, and pirates would capture and trade enslaved people as part of their plunder. The treatment of enslaved individuals was often brutal and inhumane, with many subjected to grueling labor and harsh punishments. Pirates also engaged in widespread looting and pillaging. When they captured a ship, they would strip it of all valuables, often leaving the crew and passengers destitute. This relentless pursuit of wealth led to a culture of greed and excess, where pirates would spend their ill-gotten gains on alcohol, gambling, and other vices as quickly as they acquired them. One of the most notorious pirate habits was their use of the pirate code or Articles of Agreement. While this code established some semblance of order among the crew, it also included some particularly brutal provisions. For instance, the code often stipulated harsh punishments for disobedience or cowardice, including marooning or execution. Additionally, the distribution of loot was strictly regulated, with the captain and higher-ranking members receiving a larger share. This often led to tension and conflict within the crew. Pirates also had a penchant for tattoos and body modifications, which were often performed under unsanitary conditions. These tattoos were not just decorative, but served as a means of identification and a record of their exploits. The process of tattooing was painful and risky, with a high likelihood of infection. Despite the risks, many pirates adorned themselves with elaborate designs, further contributing to their fearsome reputation. The overall health of pirates was generally poor. The lack of fresh fruits and vegetables led to scurvy, a debilitating disease caused by vitamin C deficiency. Scurvy caused swollen gums, loose teeth, and painful joints, often rendering pirates incapable of performing their duties. Despite the prevalence of this disease, many pirate ships lacked the necessary provisions to prevent it, leading to high mortality rates. Another disgusting aspect of pirate life was their approach to mental health. Pirates lived in constant fear of capture, execution, or betrayal, leading to high levels of stress and anxiety. There was no concept of mental health care, and those who exhibited signs of mental illness were often left to fend for themselves, or subjected to cruel treatment by their crewmates. Superstition played a significant role in pirate culture, often leading to bizarre and unhygienic practices. For example, pirates believed that wearing certain charms or amulets could protect them from harm. These items were rarely cleaned and often became breeding grounds for bacteria and disease. Additionally, pirates would sometimes perform strange rituals to ensure good luck, such as drinking the blood of a fallen enemy or keeping a severed limb as a talisman. Pirates' sexual habits were also notoriously unclean and often violent. With few women aboard ships, some pirates engaged in homosexual relationships, which were often consensual but sometimes coercive. The lack of hygiene and medical knowledge meant that sexually transmitted infections were rampant, further deteriorating the health of the crew. The process of recruitment into piracy often involved coercion and brutality. Pirates would capture sailors from other ships and give them the choice of joining their crew or facing death. This practice, known as press ganging, often involved severe beatings and torture to break the will of the captives and force them into submission. The resulting crew was a mix of willing adventurers and unwilling conscripts, leading to a volatile and dangerous environment. Pirates were also known for their excessive use of profanity and crude language. Communication among pirates was often laced with vulgarities, reflecting their rough and violent lifestyle. This coarse language was not only a means of expression, but also served to intimidate and dominate others. Another disgusting habit was the handling of the dead. Pirates rarely had the means or the inclination to properly bury their dead. Bodies were often thrown overboard or left to decompose in the hold of the ship until they could be disposed of. This practice contributed to the spread of disease and added to the overall stench and filth of pirate ships. Pirates' interactions with local populations were often violent and exploitative. When they raided coastal towns or villages, they would loot, burn, and destroy property, often killing or enslaving the inhabitants. If you enjoyed this epic journey, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling historical tales. Don't miss out on new videos. Hit the notification bell to stay updated.